Hi, I'm Rick. Welcome to Elbow Shots. Today I'm going to be doing a floor using luxury vinyl tile or LVT with grout. Let's take a look. In this video I will show you how I grout vinyl tile using acrylic grout. In part 1 we looked at prep, layout, and gluing. In part 2 we looked at cutting, fitting, and setting. With all of our tiles set, it's time to grout. The homeowners have chosen a complementary color, which is traditional and my preference, though some people prefer contrasting colors. First, I vacuum to get up any dirt or the hairs I may have pulled out while fitting and clean off any adhesive residue. I prefer a firm rubber grout float to really pack the grout down into the joints. It is pretty easy to touch up grout if you need to, but it's much easier if you don't need to. Push the grout into the joints from multiple directions to make sure you don't have any air pockets. As the grout dries, it can collapse into an air pocket, leaving you with a sinkhole. Squeegee as much of the grout off the top of the tiles as possible using the edge of the float. You want a damp sponge. If it's too wet, it will leave water sitting on top of the grout, which will likely discolor the grout. Because of the exposure to air, the grout on top of the tiles dries quickly while the grout in the joints stays soft, so you want to use a light hand when cleaning. For the initial cleaning and shaping, I use a circular motion. After that first rub down, I work only in one direction, pulling the sponge towards me and rolling it up at the end of the sweep. You want to rotate and rinse your sponge frequently, and wring it out well. Wring your sponge out to the point where it doesn't drip, then wring it out a little more. On bigger jobs, you may need to change your water a couple of times. Remember, it doesn't get any easier to clean than right now. Work an area that you can reach without changing position too much, and finish that area before you move on to the next area. Keep the edge of your float diagonal to the grout lines. If your float is perpendicular, it can drag the grout back out of the joint. If your float is parallel, it can dip down into the joint, removing too much grout. Using the squeegee technique saves a lot of time when cleaning grout. The sponge still has enough water in it to re-moisten the surface of our grout. With the initial cleaning, we're just re-moisturizing and removing the heavy excess. It may seem like there's a lot of repetition when grouting. There is. Stay focused. Remember your vision of the finished product. Sing along with the music, or maybe you prefer to listen to an audio program. Sometimes you can get into the zen of grouting, and before you know it, it's all done. You can finish the door with caulking, but you can grout it in too. The same principles apply. Fill the gaps completely, scrape off the excess, and wash it down. A painter's tool can help reach into the nooks and crannies. Remember to use light pressure with the sponge. You can even wrap the painter's tool with a cloth for detailed cleaning. This acrylic grout performs very much like acrylic caulking. That's why I'm not opposed to using it along an exterior door or a tub or a shower. It remains flexible and water resistant. Continue working small areas at a time, completing each area as you work your way out of the room. Stay off of the floor and don't let any people or critters walk on it until the next day. Stay within your reach, fill the gaps, squeegee off the excess, wring out your sponge, and finish before moving on. You can turn a tired old floor like this into a beautiful new floor like this. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up icon and subscribe to Elbow Shots.